All right, and it is 12 o'clock. It's a little past 12, but it's all right. We're going to still get started because I'm really excited about what we have to start off with. I was telling Jamie a little bit earlier, man, I feel a little bit rusty because we haven't done one of these since I think like early June, maybe late May. And so it's like, oh, gotta get it going. So, but I am real excited to be back to present this material to you guys. Um, Part of the NM team, we are very happy to present the Google for Education Tools overview. Now, as an overview, we're not going to go into depth about each tool. We're just going to show you the options that you have, the applications that are available to you as being part of instructors here in the state of New Mexico and part of the NM Propel team, this whole New Mexico higher education, that big old umbrella. You know, you can call us whatever you want. We're still under the same grouping. So we're real excited to be here today with you. So before we get started with this presentation, my name is Meriah Guillen. I am part of the NM team. I feel like I have been doing this for forever, but I know I have not because Jamie has been doing it for forever. So I'm really excited. I'm going to be doing the presentation today, and our moderator is, like I said, Jamie Trujillo. So she's down there. If you guys have any questions, comments, anything that you would like to be let known, you can go ahead and type it in the chat. And Jamie is really good about moderating that chat. She's going to answer any questions, or if it's something that she wants to kind of interrupt, she'll let me know, just to make sure that this is a little bit smooth. Any questions that you have, always feel free. This is what we're here for. We're here for you and to help you grow as an instructor. All right, so here we go. Google tools, probably my favorite. So before we start, everybody loves a survey, at least I do. I love being engaged and getting all kinds of interactions, because if I don't, then I end up like eating candies or something like that in the background and I forget what I'm doing. So our quick survey is just, how knowledgeable are you with what is offered with the Google Workspace for Education tools? And Jamie's going to post that now.
All right, the poll is live, so you should have gotten a notification on your bottom right of your screen that there was a poll. If you did not, there is an activities icon, which is right, and it is to the right of your chat icon. So there's a triangle, a square, and a circle. If you click on that, then you can click on polls, and it will take you to the poll. So yes, make sure you go to the polls. Looks like we do have one vote already, so somebody has been able to access that. But yeah, take a few minutes to answer the poll question, and then we'll look at the results.
To be honest, Jamie, I didn't realize how excited I was for this.
All right, if you want me to share the results, looks like we have 4 votes. So that might be everyone. Who was on?
Are all the results in?
Yep. And it looks like everybody had the same vote.
Which is?
Somewhat knowledgeable. I know about the apps, but I do only use a couple.
Cool.
Right.
That is great, because we're like I said, this is a quick overview of just what we have to offer, because we will, down the road, we will get into each one of them. We'll be able to answer your questions, how to utilize them in the classroom, Google Classroom, all of that stuff. So this is just that big umbrella of everything that we have, which is a lot. I promise, it's a lot. So, but let's ask this big question. And one of the reasons when I was creating this, I was like, why would we want to use the Google for Education tools? Like, why? I know at my institution, a lot of our instructors that are at the college level, they're like, oh, I just love Microsoft and this and that and this and that. And I'm like, very, very strong. I love my Google. I'm not going to let go of it. But so why? Why is Google such a great option? because it helps to bring teachers and it helps to bring instructors and students together. There's the ability to collaborate, to share documents, to work on documents together, and to keep everything clean and safe. And it's a really, really safe environment, especially for the students that we are trying to reach. Those students that might not be comfortable with sharing materials or don't really know how to work some of those digital skills. It's a great way to help promote and start teaching some of the basic skills to some of these students. It also just helps to bring a stronger sense of community and connection to teachers across the state, because that's what we've seen a lot, is teachers being able to collaborate on different documents in different files here and there. But also for our students are able to work with each other and share information that they wouldn't be able to if they were using another program, which has been so nice. So Google has a lot to offer, and a lot of people are very comfortable with Google. I know a lot of people, myself included, have just a standard Gmail account, which is wonderful. But having it on that educational level, having it with all of the apps and with endless possibilities, makes it that much easier to connect with other instructors around the state as well as with your students. So the applications for Google Education. Now, this is my NM account, and I just clicked on the little apps button, which is right here, that little application button, and it will pop down this whole section of apps. And mine scrolls on for years and years because I have so many things on there. But you do have access to all of the standard Google apps, which are the Gmail, Google Drive, Docs, Sheets, Chats, Meets, Calendars, Sites, Forms, Jamboard, Classroom. All of these are the standard ones that you would be able to have with a normal Gmail account, which I use all of these for professional as well as personal uses. So with this, again, like I said, you get all of the standard. This is the very basics. You get all of this, and it's really nice. So what makes Google for Education a little bit different? Well, these are called the teaching learning upgrades. So with this, whenever you have a NM account, it gives you all the features in Google Classroom for the student and for the teacher. You get to have so many more options than just the basic activity and teaching, or the activity and grading. It gives you a wider range of possibilities to import lessons from your classroom, or to import lessons to your classroom, from your desktop or anything like that. You get to use all of the teaching uses, And then one of my favorite parts is the unlimited storage that is in Google Drive. Has to be hands down my favorite part, because in my personal one, a standard Gmail account has 15 gigabytes of storage, and I'm like 2 documents away from being over that. So it's really nice to have all of that ability to be able to store all of your documents, all of your shared files. Maybe, I know myself, I don't like keeping anything on my desktop anymore because computers crash and it's all like that. This is all stored in like a cloud setting, and so you'll be able to access it from anywhere, and having that unlimited storage space is absolutely one of my favorite features. And then the last one is the access to teaching and all of those learning upgrades. Now, when we talk about learning upgrades, this is what makes a real big part of what separates our standard Google accounts from the Google for Education accounts. Just makes them a little bit different. So with that, the teaching and learning upgrades with Google for Education are in Meets, Classroom, and Nearpod. Those are the ones that we're going to talk about. So if you are doing like a hybrid session, or if you are just strictly still online doing anything like that, whenever you use Google Meets, you are now allowed up to 250 participants. Now, if you have a class with 250 participants, I want to see it, because that would be absolutely amazing to see something like that. I know for us, we don't really, I think the most I've had actually join live was maybe 20, and that was like the first time, and then after that, nobody came. But I know we don't typically hit that 250, but it's really nice to have that option of, hey, I can have this many students in my class at one time. You also have recording options. You have breakout rooms, questions and answers, the polls. You can do co-presenters. So like the poll that I just did, it's really nice just to be able to get that quick feedback from students, because sometimes, especially with our students, our population that we really reach out to, they're very nervous about answering or turning on their speaker, or maybe they don't want to show their face or anything like that. But we can still get them involved and engaged with their learning by having some of these options. The breakout rooms is great. So this looks really similar, or maybe not similar, but they have a lot of the same features as Zoom. So Zoom, I know for a long time had breakout rooms, and a lot of people were like, well, what happened to Google? Why isn't Google having breakout rooms? Why doesn't Google Meet have breakout rooms? And now that it does, it's a great feature to have as well, to make sure that your students are still engaged in smaller group settings, because sometimes that's what you need. So this upgrade for Meet is really, really good. The next thing is Google Classroom. Now there's a lot of things going on in Google Classroom over the last, I would say since the COVID era. The interface has changed a lot. They've changed so many settings and so many different looks of it that it's kind of hard to keep up with sometimes. But one of the big things that I like, and I played around with it a couple of times, is the plagiarism checker, where as long as you have that active, it'll look through and make sure that your students are producing unique materials, that they're not just copying and pasting from a website, but that they're actually taking the time to make sure that it's in their own words. And so it's a great way to start with our adult ed students, to teach them, hey, you know what, it's so easy. We know to just copy and paste from a website, but we want to make it unique and personal for us. It'll also look through and just see if there's anything similar from maybe another student. It's a very quick plagiarism checker that is really nice. That is not available if you just have a standard Google account. And the last one is Nearpod. If you have not dabbled at all in Nearpod, it is amazing. It's super fun. The students absolutely love it because it just makes learning engaging. It makes them connected to what they're learning. So Nearpod is a website that does interactive slides, interactive lessons that you can go through. And I'm just going to go here right quick because I know a lot of people have had questions about Nearpod. So Nearpod simply looks, maybe I'm already signed in, but it looks like this, where you can go through, you can have your personal materials here, anything that you've created on your own, or you can explore the NM DELT library, or the New Mexico State Library of adult education materials. You can come here, or you can just look at Nearpod's library as a whole. So you can either create your own lesson or pick a lesson that is already existing. And of course, this again is one of the features that we have here and with our NM DELT email and login. So remember what I said is that this is really just a quick overview of what we have to offer. We will go later down the road, we will go in and talk about each one individually and see kind of where everyone is at and what questions you guys might have regarding each one of these applications. Now, going back, there are so many applications that are available to you that if we were to go through them all today, or even in one setting, I know myself, I would end up falling asleep. I would get bored and I would just want to continue moving on. With this, we want to make sure that we are providing as much information as we can. So this, again, was just a very big overview of what we have to offer. So how do you gain access to all of these apps? Well, that is a wonderful question. If you do not already have an NM DELT account, you would want to create an NM DELT account by going to www.nmdelt.org. Now, when you do that, you will come up to this page, and I just cut off the top part because this is going to be the part that is really, really important. So to get an NM DELT email, you're going to go where it says request email, right there, that little button, and it'll open up this form. Now, this form is just very quick. It's going to ask a couple of questions of your current email and what kind of email you would want with your NM DELT. So to do this, you would hit new account. Now, there are 3 other options of I forgot my password, or I'm an instructor with an NM DELT account requesting access to other accounts. Those are for later down the line if you are struggling, like if you forget your password and you're trying to redo it, or if you are administrator of some sort and you need to get access to an account. But those are for another time. Okay. So once you hit new account, then you would type, you would select what type of account you are requesting. In order to get all of these wonderful features, make sure that you click on instructor or tutor, because that is going to help, or that is what's going to give you permission to access some of these. Now, on the very bottom of that page, and I just realized now that I didn't add it, it's going to ask you like which additional ones would you like, which is Nearpod and I believe an EdReady account. As long as you click on those, it'll give you access to them. Now, let's just say for some reason you forgot to hit that button and you're like, oh no, I really wanted that. What do I do? Or maybe right now you already have an NM account and you're like, I would love to have access to every single thing that is available to me. It's very simple. You can always contact Tina Height to update your account, and she will give you those subscriptions as needed. Now, one of the things is, since they are subscriptions, we have to make sure that they are being utilized. So make sure that you are using them throughout, because we want to make sure that we are giving the teachers that really need it. If we ever do hit a point where we have too many, I know Tina would look back and see who's using it and who isn't. But if you do want, and you already have an NM account, just contact Tina and she'll update your account pretty quickly. I know one of the things we were talking about is that as of right now, since we don't have a whole lot of teachers, or we don't have a whole lot of people coming in and it's kind of slow, getting your account might be pretty quick. But as we start getting more teachers and programs start getting into full swing, it might take a little bit longer. Tina's only one person. She's wonderful, but you kind of have to be patient with some of these things. So make sure if you do contact Tina that you understand that it might not be something that is immediate, but it might take a little bit of time. Cool. So again, and I know I'm repeating this several times over and over, simply because there are going to be so many things that come up in the future. This was just a quick peek into what we will be presenting later on. So we will be doing stuff that talks about how to use some of the sheets, docs, and slides. We'll be talking about how to use Drive. We'll be talking about how to use Nearpod, especially Nearpod, because there's so many people that want to have access to that one because it's so wonderful to use. So a big question that a lot of people have are like, well, what if I can't come to these? You know, maybe it's during your lunch, yes, but how am I supposed to have access to all of these webinars if I cannot attend? Which is, again, a wonderful question, which is what leads us to our proposed site. So you would want to log in or sign in to the professional learning portal. This is where we are going to have all of our webinars put into classrooms, so that way you can either go back, and look at a webinar that has already been presented. If you have missed one, you can go and watch it for the first time. But the biggest thing is that we want to make sure that everyone is doing, or everyone that has participated in these is getting credit for them. So in order to do that, you would go to propelnm.org. Haha, I got it. And you would do the click here to enter the professional learning portal. Once you have clicked there, you would go to this page. Now, it is preferred that you log in using an NM account, okay? If you do that, it'll quickly log everything. It'll connect everything together. It's a smoother process. It's streamlined, and you'll be able to utilize your NM, and it's just under one big umbrella. Like I said earlier, all of this is under one big umbrella, so it just makes it that much easier to make sure that you are engaged within your email and that it's all connected into one place. If you need to create an account with your work email, you can definitely do that. If you have any issues, you can always contact Tina, and Tina is the one who's going to be creating all of these accounts. Tina's wonderful, and I know I saw her name pop up there, so she's listening. But Tina is absolutely great at getting all of this situated and created in a timely manner. If you do use a different account, sometimes there will be an issue, might be an issue or two. Just make sure that you message Tina and let her know. But once you have signed in to the Propel Professional Learning Portal, it will ask you to register for a webinar course. Now, all of our tech talks will be housed under this adult education tab. There will be several others. So just right quick, like I said, Ours is right now what we are doing are called the Tech Talks. There's also going to be training from the back of the room, teaching skills that matter, and the links. All those will be under the adult ed. But if you want to very specifically just view these, you can go ahead and you would click on Tech Talks. And it'll open this nice little page, and it'll just have a very quick description of what is all on here. And so you'll notice there's teachers here, and then the self-enrollment button, the self-enrollment button. You'll just hit enroll me, and then it will quickly enroll you into the class. Once you have come in here, this tab right here where it says Google Tools for Education, that will be where all of our webinars are. You'll be able to go back and watch them, rewatch them, watch them for the first time, however you want to do that. And then we will also have the Google Tools for Education survey. In order to get credit for completing these PDs, you do have to do the survey as well. And that'll be put all into you as soon as you complete it. It'll be recorded. And that way, if you have a supervisor that is telling you, hey, make sure you go and do 10 hours of professional development or join this webinar, or do you want to make sure, or they want to make sure that you are completing all of these webinars or professional development, they can come in here as soon as you are done and see that you have completed the course by taking this survey. It's not very hard. I believe each one is like 5-10 questions on feedback and what you thought about it, and just to make sure that you are getting credit for all of the professional development and the time that you guys are taking for actually attending these, which is really great. And we really want to make sure that we are creating a community of instructors to help push and guide our AE programs to higher realms, really. And we do this together as a team. It's never just something you're doing. This is why we are doing this, is to make sure that everyone feels like they are in a supported area, because sometimes it can get lonely, especially in AE, because people sometimes forget that we're here. All right, before we go any further, are there any questions? Like I said, this was just a great big umbrella of all of the materials that we provide through NM Delt and through having an NM Delt email. Remember, NM Delt is powered by Google, so if you went into Gmail, then you could type in your NM Delt through there. So there's a lot of information that can go through here. There's a lot of tools that we will be going over in the future. When we have all of our when we sit down and make a calendar, it will be sent out to everyone. But just for right now, this was just a sneak peek of what we will be anticipating seeing here within the next couple of months. So are there any questions about any specific tools or anything that you would like to add?
Just to note, you can either unmute to ask a question, or you can type your questions in the chat if you prefer.
All right, I'm going to go to the next page, and I'm going to turn the rest of this over to the wonderful Jamie.
Thank you, Meriah. So what I wanted to do is just announce our annual Teachers Institute. This year, just as in the last couple of years, we are still doing a virtual Teachers Institute via Zoom. We're hoping next year that it might be able to be in person, but for right now, it is virtual. So please mark your calendars for Friday, October 28th from 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. There is no fee to register at all. And this really is for teachers. It is presented by teachers. We are wanting local instructors to give presentations on their own best practices, share their ideas, anything that really you feel strongly about that's been working for you. Please consider giving a presentation. We have high school equivalency topics, ELL or ESL topics, college and career pathways topics, adult literacy topics. We're looking for presenters in all those arenas. So I am actually going to be sending out an email this afternoon with this flyer that you're seeing in front of you that will have a clickable link to submit a presentation proposal. We are looking for proposals before September 30th. So please note that that is the deadline to submit a proposal. I will also be sending a very, very short registration form. Again, there's no registration fee. We just want folks to register ahead of time so that we have an idea of how many participants to expect. But, you know, for those of you that have not yet attended a Teachers Institute, they are really wonderful. They're a great opportunity to network with other instructors, even if it is virtual. It's still a really great experience. So we hope that as many of you as possible can attend while, you know, we have these going on virtually, especially. So if you have any questions about the Teachers Institute as well, you can put them in the chat, or I am going to put my email in the chat. And this is the email where it will be coming from, which is my abqalc.org email. I do have an NM Delta email, but this is the one that I field NMAEA questions through. So if you have any questions about the Teachers Institute, please feel free to contact me. And thank you.
Thank you, Jamie. And that, like I said, this was just a quick overview, kind of like a sneak peek of what we are going to be presenting in the future. Now, we don't have, like I was saying earlier, we don't have a calendar quite set up yet, but as soon as we do, we will be sending out to you so you guys kind of get an idea. I know in the survey that we took just a little bit ago, some of you guys said that you know some of it or you utilize some of it. So we really want to make sure that you know which ones are going to really captivate you or which ones are really going to benefit you here in the future. So just keep an eye out for that as it comes out. We are, like I said, we're just getting back into this. I'm real excited. Like I said, we haven't done one of these in a while, so we're just really excited to have everyone and start building our community of AE instructors again. So if there are no more questions, Jamie, there weren't any questions in the chat, were there?
No, there are no questions in the chat.
Well, thank you all for joining us, and we look forward to seeing everyone again. Jamie, did you have something to say? Tina has something to say.
I thought I would just jump on and thank everyone for attending. And Meriah, that's a great overview of everything that Google Workspace offers. It's a lot. So you've got Google Docs, Google Sheets, Google Slides, the whole suite. Your students benefit from having an NM Delta account by having more security, more storage, and those sharing your documents, and especially in Google Classroom. So I've become a great Google user and a Google fan. There are a lot of things that you can do with Google tools. The other thing to remember is when you're teaching your students with this and using the Google Applied Digital Skills, if you just Google Google Applied Digital Skills, there are tons of lessons to how to incorporate Google tools into your lesson plans. And as Meriah mentioned, we'll be covering that in later webinars. And that came out in the Professional Development Survey as an area of need and an area of interest. So presenting more digital literacy for our students. Well, as you can see, like when you request an NM Delta account, the form was created in Google Forms, and you can create quizzes using Google Forms. The website, the NM Delta website, as well as propelnm.org, both were created using Google Sites. So you can create a website for your class or for your students. And, you know, because I have intimate knowledge of UNM Valencia's program, I know that website, the program website, was also built on Google Sites. So that's another advantage to having. You can do Google Sites with a free account. You just have more features with the Workspace account. In addition to questions, is there anything in particular that you would like a presentation on? And I know that she'll be holding a workshop in a couple of weeks where you can just come in and do some hands-on kinds of things if you're having issues with any of the Google tools. But is there anything in particular you would like us to cover?
And of course, for those of you whose microphones are not working, please feel free to put it in the chat. We are always happy to hear what you all need as far as tech talks.
And if you think about it later, just send us an email. All right. I will let you go for now. Have a wonderful lunch. Have a wonderful weekend, everyone.
Thank you very much, Tina.
Thanks, Tina. All right, well, I think that's it. If anyone has, like Tina was saying, if anybody has any questions, always feel free to send any one of us a message. I know I didn't put Tina's on here because I didn't think she was going to be on here, and she threw me for a loop. But let me go back, and I know Jamie already put them in the chat. But if you do have any questions, comments, anything you would like to see, always feel free to reach out to us. And we will see you next time. Have a great day, everyone.
Thank you so much, everybody. Have a great weekend.